Marko, we know you're a Giant fan. The Saquon Barkley Tiki Barber beef was so very interesting over the last couple of weeks. And Tiki came out on WFAN, said he didn't mean it that way, but all the fans are going to hate him. Meanwhile, why would the fans hate him if all the Giants needed to do was give him the $30-something million he deserved? What were your thoughts to Tiki Barber attacking Saquon Barkley? And do you believe that Saquon Barkley was wrong taking the contract from the Eagles?
I wouldn't say he was wrong, because you always got to do what's best for yourself, and that's always the most money on the table. But come on, there's certain things you don't do in sports. You don't go from the Yankees to the Red Sox. You don't go from the Celtics to the Lakers, or Lakers to the Celtics. And you don't go from the Giants to the Eagles. You can go to the Commanders. Cowboys, I don't care. Nobody likes them anyways. But you do not go to the Eagles from the Giants, especially after the last couple of years and how successful they've been and how bad we've been. You don't do that. You just don't.
Come on.
Stop. The sad part is there's some report out there. I'm not sure if this is true or not. There's some report out there that he signed the same exact contract that he signed with the Eagles. The Giants offered him the year before. It was just a difference of like $1.5 million in guarantees. And if that's what it comes down to, I don't know. I feel like it's just
he thought he was going to get more.
Do what's best for you, but I felt like, why not just go to Houston? Why not go to Baltimore? Like,
there's from the money that he got from the Eagles.
I know, but he could have got that money in Houston for sure. I feel like, why would they not pay him?
Houston didn't offer him that money. The Eagles were the only team that offered him anywhere close to that money. And the Giants didn't even want to give him $25 million. They didn't want to give him guaranteed money. And that's selfish for the Giants. And I understand the Giants.
Is it really though? Because I saw an interesting tweet. It was like, either you pay Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley 40 combined in salary over 2 years, or like just combined salary, those two players, $40 million, or you pay Brian Burns $30 million and you sign a couple of alignment, which we did. And I think we got good deals in free agency.
Hold on a second.
We got Brian Burns.
You're gonna go after a linebacker that you didn't draft, a linebacker that wasn't a part of your organization, and pay him $30 million a year. Oh, that's a great move. Fantastic. When you have a running back that really was everything to your offense, 68% of the snaps that was run through him, and their offense was pretty much tied up through him, you decide, hey, you know what? We don't need him anymore. Let him, we don't want to pay him. And that's why he decided to go to the Eagles. I'm not going to blame Saquon. I would have done the same thing. Hate him or love him. He is still a Giant. He will still go down as one of the greatest running backs the Giants have ever had. And there's no question that he is. It's a shame that Tiki Barber would open his big fat mouth when he's the one that ducked and weaved and told the Giants to kiss his ass.
And then retired and they won a Super Bowl without him. I'm just saying, here's the thing. For me, it's like, I get it. You got to do what's best for you. And to me, he was my favorite player on the Giants last, 5 years. I do think he's the best running back ever for the New York Giants. I don't even think it's close.
Talent-wise, yeah.
But here's the thing. To me, it's just like, I know what you were saying with he was 68% of our offense and everything. It was a terrible offense. He was the only thing we had. There's no team in the last 10 years that's paid a running back a lot of money that's won a Super Bowl. No team. Every team does it with minimum contract running backs, rookie running backs on rookie contracts. They get some cheap running back on the market. He turns out to be a baller that year. That's how it's been. That's just been the formula recently. So like paying a running back $13 million when you've been bad and you got the 6th pick, I think it's the right thing to do. I think there's positional value. You don't pay a running back that much money if you have holes on the O-line and D-line. And then that's why we went out and got Brian Burns. You pay an edge rusher $30 million because that's what they're worth. And that's what you're supposed to pay them. Same thing with the O-line. You got to invest in those. But running backs, you can get for cheaper. And you can replace running back protection if your O-line's just better. Our O-line's been bad. I wish we would have fixed it. I wish we would have stayed a Giant for life. But I think if we shored up our O-line, I think Devin Singletary might put up similar numbers next year just because the O-line's better. I'm not saying he's a better running back.
Stop!
I'm not saying he's a better running back, but he might put up better numbers because the O-line's better. And Saquon might not get all the numbers next year in terms of rushing touchdowns because every time they get to the goal line, it's going to be the tush push. So
true, Giant fan, ladies and gentlemen. Are you listening to our friend Marko Vidackovic? He is a true Giant fan. I mean, maybe we should. Maybe we should hook you up with Tiki Barber. You can go out, you hang out. Maybe you could try on some high heels like he has over the last couple of years, and maybe go out to a drag queen, contest or something like that. I think that would be cool, wouldn't you?
See, the stats are up on the screen now. It's just like 3.9 yards per carry. Just like that's
because the offensive line blows.
That's my argument. It's like, why would you pay the running back then if you're gonna take the 13 million, just divide it between a couple of linemen and try to get a better line? Because I mean, Daniel Jones isn't getting any help pass protection either.
All right. So you're looking at the offensive line help that they've added in the offseason. Which one do you like?
What's the guy's name from the Packers? I forgot his name. There's a right guard. He's starting like 50 games.
And then they also added a Luminor from the Raiders.
Exactly. That guy's good too. He's going to play right tackle probably. And they're going to move Evan Neal to right guard, I assume.
How much you want to bet guys won't stay healthy?
That's football. That's football.
Not gonna stay healthy.
I'm glad that we actually just got like actual quality guys, at least that have proven it the last couple of years. Usually when we sign those type of guys, they're not good anymore for us for some reason. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully our O-line's better this year and we're not dead last again in pass protection and run block. So
you Giant fans were so in love with Brian Dable. I mean, the guy ran out his his defensive coordinator and practically his whole coaching staff. I mean, because he's like Hitler. People were saying in the locker room, blaming everybody but himself on what the team was doing in the middle of the games. Sitting there, and he thought he could call the defensive plays, yelling at Wink Martindale on telling him what he should be running when Wink Martindale's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I mean, come on. I like Dable. I like Brian Dable, but for some reason, he's from that Belichick tree. As soon as he won Coach of the Year, this guy thought he was God's gift to the world, and he was wearing his Jordans on the sidelines, all the different kinds of his shaved head, sitting there when his face turns red, bright red. He looked like a blow pop. He looked like a cherry blow pop when he was out there on the field yelling at people. I mean, I like Dable, but the problem is with the Giants have been really, really bad at this over the last couple of years. As a matter of fact, the Giants in the last, I think, 10 years has gone through 5 coaches in 10 years. To me, if you look at what the Giants have done over the years, go look at the success story with the coaches they brought in. Bill Parcells was there how long? 8, 9 years, almost 10 years. Tom Coughlin was there for almost 10 years. All these different coaches, success, you got to keep those coaches and you got to keep them on and you got to let them be themselves. Tom Coughlin had to change the way he acted in the locker room because him and Michael Strahan were not going to get along. But when he did, it worked. What is Dable going to do when he's going into a locker room with a bunch of young guys? One. Number two, you don't know what this team is. This team is not good. On paper, if you go up and down this roster, are you really excited on watching the Giants play this year in the NFC East when you have the Eagles? Washington's going to be better. You have the Cowboys they're still the Cowboys. You say whatever you want. I mean, I'm worried if I'm a Giant fan that they could still be the worst team in the NFC East.
I think that's reserved for the Commanders forever, but to me, it's
very. I like.
You said, "Am I excited about offense?" We'll see who we get at 6. Hopefully, it's Malik Neighbors. Hopefully, or maybe Marvin
Harrison Jr.
I hope so. But here's the thing: who has a better D line than us in the NFL?
Are you kidding me? Don't get me started here. Are you kidding me? There's a team in the same stadium that has a better defensive line than you. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Jet. Are you going to tell me the Giants have a better defensive line than the Jets? Yeah. Come on, dude. You got to be Speedy. Do that? Giants
I don't think as much. They got the star power, I think.
Do you think the Giants have a better defensive line than the Jets? Don't sit here and say that they do, because they don't.
Who's better than Brian Burns on the Jets?
Hassan Reddick's better than any defensive player the Giants have. Yes, he is. I mean,
not Lawrence.
That's a wash. That's a wash. CJ Mosley. Who do the Giants have over CJ Mosley? If you're washing out
Fabio Ferrique, he's way better.
What are you?
Fabio Ferrique.
I wouldn't say he's better.
Better. CJ Mosley was an all-pro player. What are you not?
Yeah, but he's like 35 years old.
Yeah,
he's like 35.
No loss. I'm going to tell you this right now. The Giants' defensive line is not anywhere close to the Jets' defensive line.